This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
I guess I think we're ready to roll. Let's call the meeting of the Southampton Select Board together to order at about 6:02. And whatever day today is, which I'm totally losing, February 12th, thank you. February 12th, so we'll call the meeting to order for Select Board. And if we could start by standing and saying the Pledge of Allegiance. We have a little flag right here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Very good, good. I think finance looks like you have forums, so you'd like to call to order, Jim?
Call the finance committee meeting to order at 6:03.
Okay, very good. Okay, are we recording, Scott? Or?
Yep.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, should be.
We don't see ourselves, that's why I was asking. That thing usually blurbs at us. Okay. Up there. Okay, very good. All right. Good. So tonight, I guess we're all here for our first budget hearings for the FY whatever 2011 season. So up first, I believe we have the Board of Assessors. And I know, Scott, if you want to do a little intro first before we turn it over to people, or how you want to run this, go ahead.
So one of the mistakes I made when I redid the budget letter this year is asking for a reduced level and increased budget. And a lot of times, most of our department budgets are very small. You know, with the assessors, it's some office supplies, it's 1.5 staff, and it's a few other things. So there's not a lot of, I guess, fat to be cut. But I think this is an opportunity to kind of explain a lot of the line items that you have, some of the things that you do, some of the programs that you're doing, the accomplishments that you've had over the year, giving a general overview of the department, kind of showing, the public what you do on a regular basis. So I think that, when you look at your budget, a lot of it's relatively, basic, but this is a time for you to shine as the assessors.
You have 10 minutes.
Go for it.
Why don't you start?
Yeah.
Want me to start? Well, we're the assessors. We're the ones that make everybody mad. So the assessments start with us. The taxes and everything start with us. So we go out and determine what the values of properties are and everything. Our budget is fairly standard. I mean, we've got dues and our yearly dues with the Massachusetts Assessors Association and the Hampden County Assessors Association. So those coupled with the office supplies, it's pretty standard. The annual contract for vision software, that is our main component. That is like our database, basically, how we input everything, and that unfortunately is we do see an increase in that. That's the company. We don't really have much say in that, unfortunately. The town maps, that is our mapping contract to determine or to produce the maps. Any changes with lot splits or combinations or whatever. That again is a contracted service.
With tie and bond.
Tie and bond. Yep. The consultant line. Last year it was more because we were in a reval year, so we needed more assistance with valuing the overall town, plus the commercial, industrial, and personal property. This year we're not in a reval year. It's just a basic year. So we don't need those services as much, so we did cut back. There are still a couple things that I do need assistance with, which is why we still have a line budget of $5,000. And then the cyclical inspections at $3,600, that's just to hire an extra consultant to assist with the, we have to be within, every year Department of Revenue mandates that we inspect, within a 10-year cycle, we have to inspect the entire town. So we're, I think we're a little bit behind on that, so we're still gonna need probably to hire somebody to help assist, catch us up, because I can only do so much.
So that's why the $6,000 budget request? Or is that, when you say approved, I'm confused what 27 approved is.
That'll be the final number.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got 3,600 for that line.
Trying 3,600?
Yeah.
Because this past year was a re-eval year, we were not able to do as many cyclical inspections, so we're a little bit behind. So we would probably use every cent of that to catch up.
Can I ask what's dues versus office supplies? Like, what are your dues?
So our dues is like for the assessors have to pay dues.
No, I know what they are, but what's the value of them? So like, is it $250 to your listserv? Because, and I'm not trying to split hairs here, but that's a lot of office supplies in my opinion. And I'm just, if we're looking to cut fat, if we cut $1,000 off of everybody's office supply budget, that's 10 grand essentially.
We can live with that, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
Yeah. The dues are a few couple $100.
Yeah, to like your assessor listserv and you know. Okay.
Yeah.
So there are also courses, conferences that we can attend to sort of keep up with our certifications and to keep ahead of changes in the Commonwealth. And last year we attended a few of those, which they add up to, if 3 or 4 of us go, there's
It depends.
$800.
Yeah, sometimes they're like $75 a person. Sometimes they're, a little bit more than that.
One of the ones we went to this year was figuring out the new law under accessible dwelling units.
I'm in local government too. I just attended MMA, so I attend all my conferences as well, so I'm a total supporter of that.
But I think that's a good point. We could shade that.
Or I may make a recommendation. We centralize office supplies in my community, so there was one pot of money and then we had a central office supplies form, and we cut huge money from, it's just wasteful at the end of the year when there's surpluses, we're seeing transfers from that line anyways. So
A supply closet for everybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just some recommendations as we're looking at where to cut. There's not much fat to Scott's point, but and I would actually like to see like a dues and subscription line broken out from office supplies. I think it's more transparent. I think an in-state travel and a dues and subscription versus all lumped together is a little bit more of a transparent package.
Good suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's a good idea.
I think looking at last year, if I'm looking at the end of June 25 report, auditor expenses look like they're around $3,700. So didn't quite spend all the line item that they were allocated from what I got.
And again, it's $600 is the difference, but it's a clearer picture of what the conferences are, how many are attending, and versus office supplies. That's kind of lumped together, and it's just not as transparent.
Sure.
And then we just have the
Salary line.
salary line item.
So we have an assistant, we don't have an assistant assessor, we have an admin assistant. Is that different than what we've had, or has that been the same thing?
That's always been.
Captain.
Terrible title. Well, I interpret that to mean you're an administrative assistant. You don't hold an assessor's license. You can't act in the absence of the assessor.
That's right. Although the current employee is interested in taking some of those courses and getting some of those certifications, just
As a backup.
as a backup.
And for more learning, knowledge and experience.
Yeah.
How much are those courses offhand? Do you know?
Yeah.
I mean, are these the things that you guys take as the board of assessors, or different?
It's in addition to that, yes.
Is it the Assessor 101 class?
That's free,
That's part of it, but yeah,
but
yeah. So it used to
she's
be,
done that already.
it used to be a week over at UMass in August. They don't do that anymore. So it's like, kind of hard to find like where they're actually offering the classes, if they're all online or we got to go out to like Boston or something, but.
The, under the wages, for you guys or for Scott, do those represent last year's numbers, or is that in accordance with the scales that we increased?
So when we get into the wages part later on, that would be a 1.5% increase across the wage scale.
That's reflected in the stuff.
Yeah, and any step increases.
Is reflected already.
Yep.
So overall, this is an 11.5% reduction from last year in this total budget. So they've already cut 11.5%.
Where are you seeing that?
I just did the math on the side. Last year's
Oh, yeah,
budget
the
expenses
consultants.
42,970. It's not there, you gotta manually do it, but they're at 38. Difference between that divided. And with software support going up.
But it's because of the consulting, they're in a reassessment year,
It's
so.
basically that.
Yeah, well, I think we went 2 years, you were acting in a part-time capacity,
Mhm.
even longer.
Right,
So
yeah.
we did this to ourselves. I'm just saying,
Mhm.
I'm all for cutting, I like the central office supplies, but how much more blood do you want from the assessors? And as David said to start with, that's where the taxation starts. So if we cripple this department,
My only recommendation was office supplies, that was it.
I like that. Lock them up, put Judy in charge.
I'd have to push back a little bit on that one.
Push all you want. Your budget will be last.
A new piece of information technology this year, permit track or one-stop permitting or
Permit link.
permit link. Where does that fall? Who carries the weight for that ongoing implementation?
That's in our townwide IT expenses. So PermitLink, Vadar, Microsoft 360, Novus, our managed support technology, Near Maps, all that's, I'll show you in the townwide expenses part of it.
So I would suggest that there's a deficiency in the assessor's office. It needs to be attended to. The goal, of course, is for the assessors to be able to see building permits and the status of those, to the point of making sure that we're charging people the correct amount.
Yep, I think you're fully utilizing the PermitLink.
No, there's a terminal that is not sufficiently.
Kathy's computer, and we got to do something about that. Kathy's computer, she's constantly, she comes in the morning, she can't get on or for whatever reason. So she's had a number of problems with her computer. So that's just something that needs to be addressed.
The PermitLink software, you have to approve it before it moves forward with the building permit, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's something I go into. And, so, but like in general, her computer, I'm not sure what her issue is with PermitLink itself, but I know like her computer in general has issues. So.
Big connectivity issues. And Novus has been in there to try and address it, but it is not satisfactory.
Yeah, we've had a couple phone issues too. I don't know if that's related or not, but like neither one of us had a dial tone the other day.
The internet was just down.
Oh, okay.
But if we have to think about getting a new computer, is what you're saying, maybe?
Yeah.
$500 or $600 extra bucks in office supplies, we got it.
Well, they did replace her computer a month or so ago. She spent about 3 weeks trying to troubleshoot with Novus. She was concerned about the productivity she lost in the meantime. They did replace her computer. I don't know if it was a rebuilt or a new one. That she doesn't have access to the cloud. Some of, and you've mentioned it too, some of the software programs don't communicate well. So there are issues with having to double enter the same data and then, double check it manually. So just basically under IT. I don't know what's included in our package, but and this is probably the time for this discussion, but
Yeah, basically we need to address her computer, basically.
It was a new computer, I thought, right?
What's that?
It was a new computer.
I don't know.
Is it a hardware or software issue?
Couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I know the computer she has right now is like,
Connectivity, so it's in the ether between hardware and software.
yeah. And I thought that it was just a temporary computer, but I could be wrong on that.
It should be brand new.
Yeah, I don't know if it's tiny, so I don't know if like that's how they come now. But yeah.
Okay.
So. Other than that, we're pretty easy.
And the town maps, just, I think those are the big ones that you have on your desk there.
It's both. It's the big maps, but they also do the computerized version for us.
Okay.
So they send me a flash drive that I upload to the website and
Okay.
everything. So.
Okay.
And the GIS as well.
Madam Chair?
Yes, sir.
Not to be a stickler, but we're 5 minutes into the building department now. It's a very tight schedule.
Yes, it is, it is.
Well, it's a great pass
Yeah.
off because of this permit link between the building department and the assessors is kind of fundamental to making sure that if you walk up and down the hallway asking a question, every office gives you the same answer.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Permit Link is going to be the good tool that we think it is supposed to be, where we don't have to handle paper so many times and get all the necessary approvals in the right order.
Vadar might have a bridge solution too between Permalink and Vadar, that they speak to each other, and it's because a lot of that's the gap, is that all these solutions don't speak to each other, and you're looking for a centralized spot where people can find.
Probably,
That's
yeah.
a piece of it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, good. Yeah. Nobody has any particular questions? Thank you for sharing that. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, I think we have the building department. There he is.
Department right here.
Are we doing building department and tree warden, or?
No, we're not doing tree warden. That budget's shot completely.
Are you a fence viewer too?
What's that?
Are you the fence viewer?
Not yet.
That's the one I want.
Oh, didn't they have it?
No.
All right, Jamie, you can have my $400 in office
No,
supplies.
I love a board. That's right where I'm looking for.
Just take it.
I'll bring you some pens for my
We can
conference.
share pens.
Of the budget? The whole thing.
Yeah, you got it, yeah.
Can I get a snack run?
I just ate a whole pizza before I got here, so I'm really hurting right now. My arms.
Oh, all right, that's what I like to hear.
Something on his report here was written up for the budget. You want to sit over here, see better? Much easier. It was
spending against budget.
That was the June.
I thought I had it.
June 25 budget. So it should be there.
Budget is the FY 26.
I'm looking at that. Budget from last year. 4,300.
Is this what you're looking at right there?
Not yet.
It's right up there, Ron.
Yeah.
It's behind you, so yeah, I'm looking for something else. All right, go ahead. Yep.
All right. You ready for me?
Sure.
Okay, I'm the building inspector, so this is the building department budget. It hasn't, I don't think it's changed from last year. It's been all level funded, I believe, like every year, but. I can tell you how many permits I've issued. 2024, we go off calendar year, so 2024, I issued 318 residential building permits. 2025, I issued 320 residential, so pretty much the same.
What do you think the value is of the permits? Are they going up or down?
Values are going down.
So one permit could be a new construction or a bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the permits now are solar, they're replacement windows, they're
Just issued one for my house.
weatherization, so yeah.
Eventually.
To give you an idea of how many houses, I mean, 2024, I issued 10 certificate of occupancy COs. 2025, I issued 4. So
And those are the big ones.
those are the big ones. 2026 so far, I got 2 that I've issued. So there's quite a few houses that are still in process of being built, but we haven't closed it out yet. So I don't know when you capture that. It's probably when it gets closed out and people are actually living there. I don't know how that works. That's all assessor stuff, but anyway.
But you captured them by the calendar year, you said?
Yeah, yep. So yeah, it's pretty much consistent. Like Scott said, the values have gone down quite a bit. So as far as my budget here, I don't know which one you want to talk about. I got the operating budget.
Sure.
Gas stipend. That's because I use my own vehicle for inspection, so I get a gas stipend for my own vehicle. And then I have it broken down: training, office supplies, code books. So I think I have it broken down that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Expenses, yep.
Okay.
And tree warden is underneath you as well.
Tree warden went from what, 14,000 down to 6,000. So
Is that something you need more of, or are you okay at 6?
half a tree. Yeah, theoretically, no. I mean, I'm doing what I got to do to just try to make it work. And if it doesn't work, then we'll have to do something else. But right now, we're running a pretty lean operation.
And so would these be mostly for people that call that have a disease
Yeah,
tree?
exactly.
Or-
Yeah, like a hazard tree. The good news is Eversource does something every year. They'll take care of the side of the road where the wires are. This year, they've identified East Street as their target road, and parts of Pleasant Street for tree removal. And then they're also going to do some aggressive pruning too. So that helps out the town a lot because that's on their dime. So, I mean, sort of on their dime. Probably comes back to us somehow, but.
For like each of those 300 permits, like how many trips out to the residents do you have to take?
It could be 4 trips, could be 6 trips, could be 2 trips. If it's a roofing permit, it's usually 1 trip, so it depends. Solar is usually 2 trips.
And in the last 2 years, I think we've upgraded the fees
Yeah, quite a bit.
all across the board.
Yep, plumbing,
One by one, but.
electrical, and building, so.
I think those are all posted up on the website.
Yeah, yep.
Finance committee might not be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, and maybe just for explanation for people, just explain how those fees work, the plumbing fees and the electrical fees and so forth, with the inspectors that you have.
So the plumbing and the electrical inspector, they're basically paid as a per inspection. So when they go out and do an inspection, they get whatever the breakdown is, whether it's $50 and then I don't know if it's 50 that goes to the town or whatever, but it's usually some to them and then some to the town. And that's true with plumbing and electrical and gas. So I guess there's self-funded positions.
We don't see that though in the numbers. Is that outside of what we're looking at right now?
Yeah, that's outside what you're looking at.
That goes
Yeah.
into the general fund.
Yeah.
But does it cover the cost of Is that kind of a one-to-one type of thing?
Yeah, it's probably make a little bit, but
I mean, theoretically, we're not supposed to make anything, but, you know, with the accounting, the way it works, you know, you can kind of justify it all through accounting, I guess, is the way it's been explained to me in the past. So,
I just too want to bring my concern up, and this
Yeah.
is not on your budget, but this is not an accounting best practice. Having a gas stipend that's a reimbursable, that's set, you know, he enters his mileage with the federal reimbursable rates. You know what I'm saying? And that's a reimbursement now, or is it just a straight stipend?
it's a straight stipend, and I get a 1099 on that, so.
I just think it should be broken out differently, in my opinion. It's not an accounting best practice.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, books belong in your code books and office supplies.
Yeah.
I'm all fine with that. I just think that stipends that are, you know, it's 1099able, it doesn't belong in a building expense line with lumped with office supplies. And this isn't a budget.
Yeah.
It's just a best practice that I'm speaking of.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
No
care.
reflection on you, Ron.
I don't care, particularly, I don't care for it either, because it's like, I think it works out to about $240 a month, and then that's taxable. So it's you know, it's like, by the time I buy my gas and pay for my truck, and then get taxed at the end of the year on it, it's, you know, is what it is. But
So we're not treating that as W-2 wage base.
No, it's a
giving you a 1099.
1099, exactly. So yeah,
That's,
so yeah, I mean, I'm, you know, yeah.
I would think it should be an expense line where you're submitting your
Mileage,
your
yeah.
mileage based off the federal reimbursement rate for mileage, which
Yeah.
is like, I don't know, 72 cents or
70, yeah.
something, or 75, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that this is accounting best practices.
Yeah.
it's not really employment tax best practice either.
No.
You know, the IRS doesn't tend to go over after municipalities, but I wouldn't be a corporation doing that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, whatever you want to do with that. It's just, it was handed to me like 5 years or 6 years ago when I showed up here to work, and that's just how it's been, but, yeah, I mean, I'm sure that obviously the $400 for office supplies could certainly be looked at. I don't disagree.
Again, with the lump, the way it's
Yeah.
lumped together, it's hard to look at. It's
Yeah.
not transparent, and
Yeah.
that's all I was looking for.
Yeah. So,
And you have to get new code books every year, do you?
not every year, no. I mean, it's you know, I think we're right now, the only code book that we need is the Massachusetts, the 780 CMR just changed, but a lot of the other code books are still good, so. Just code books are pretty expensive, so. I don't know. I don't think that we even used all of my budget last year. I can't remember if I spent it all. I don't think I did, so.
How is Permit Link working for you?
Permit Link's working fine for me. We've been using that since I started. I mean, that got put in place, I think, in 2016. So for the building department, it's fine. Recently, a few of the different departments have also been brought into it. Board of Health, the town clerk's office is now using it.
Conservation?
Conservation has a sign off now, so they're using it. Highway department's using it, water department's using it. They don't use it that often. They're only using it for like if there's new houses that are built, then they go in and there'll be tasks set up for like a new house, and the tasks have to be all signed off before I can issue a building permit.
Right.
So planning board's on there, they have treasurer's on there. Treasurer uses it every day because the treasurer reviews every single building permit, because they have to make sure that the taxes or water bills and all that are paid, else we can't issue a permit. So, you know, that's been done.
Yeah.
It was done manually, now it's done all through Permit Link, which is good for them because now they don't have to be interrupted when we come in and knock on the door, and so.
Well, and not only is it a more efficient
Yeah.
system, hopefully, but it should allow for catching any
Errors.
errors and also anything
Yeah.
that fell through the cracks. I mean,
Yeah.
somebody forgot to sign, they
100%,
needed to sign
exactly.
first, and
Yep.
so you're avoiding that kind of thing. So I'm all for this kind of
Yeah.
automation type thing, but.
The assessors, they've had use of it since right out of the gate too, because they're set up as to review all of the permits that come through. So I don't know how it's being used in there now, but in the past it was used quite a bit. Used to have a lot of conversations about it. So
We could take the
Yeah.
specifics offline.
Yeah, and just
Yeah.
to answer your question, I'm looking at Bradley's expense report that he came out with today for the end of June. So your expenses were the 4890 budgeted, and it looks like you spent about 3200, so around 1600-ish left over.
Yeah, we run a pretty lean operation, so.
End of January?
No, this is at the end of last year, so
Okay.
The end of last
year's
fiscal year.
expenses.
Yeah,
the whole year's worth of
I think we had to buy a new chair last year and something else.
chair. Oh my God.
But yeah,
Okay. And just actually one tiny little thing. I know Art has been your volunteer forever and ever and ever.
yeah.
Obviously, he provides a great service. I'm not sure what his plan is for hanging in there as a volunteer, but I think at some point in time, I don't know what you're thinking about.
I mean, I don't really have a succession plan in place for Art. I mean, I suppose if Art's not there, I'll have to pick up the slack. I don't know.
We do have a position that we're going to propose under the health budget for a shared part-time administrative assistant between inspectional services.
Yeah.
Oh, for inspection.
I mean, it would be good, I guess, if I'm out on an inspection or something and somebody comes in, there's always somebody in the office.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Okay. Most towns are kind of understaffed, so do what we gotta do.
Okay.
But yeah, as far as building permits, I mean, all the towns, I mean, I talked to a lot of the other towns and cities and stuff, and, they're all slowing down with new home construction. Houses have gotten to the point where people don't want to spend the money to even have a new house built, so. And plus, there's, it's easier sometimes to renovate a house than it is to deal with the codes for new construction, so.
That's probably true.
Right.
Good. All right. Well,
Thank you.
no other questions? Thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
We can skip to public safety. I can do mine whenever we have.
Sure.
I had a schedule. I think mine's
Yeah.
pretty simple.
All right. Yeah.
My only comment, were you going to go beyond the town administrator?
Okay, thanks.
Were you going to go beyond just the town administrator? So you're going to go into shared expenses and IT?
That'll be a separate.
That'll be separate. So
Yeah.
my only comment on yours is, given the status that we are, I think we should just naturally assume no new positions. So that's 61,000 for that land use planner. It'd be very hard to justify a new position.
That's the position that was budgeted last year. That was carried over.
It was budgeted last year, we didn't fill it, we're worse off this year. We have a hiring freeze in place, we should, I think if we can get this budget balanced on office supplies, then let's do it. But to hold in these new positions, we gotta make what's working right now work before I'm gonna use the word fluff, it's not accurate, but before we try to do enhancements.
Yeah. I think the idea was having a combination, was it not, with conservation, with the.
I love the idea, you don't have the resources.
No, I
Yeah, it'll be one of the first things to be cut. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be one of the first things to be cut. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. We're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, we've got the 10-minute roadshow,
Yeah.
so.
So let's go on to, I think fire department was next, right, Chief? Yeah. Chief Fasoli, and then after that, Chief Illingsworth for the police department. Sit where you want to be able to see. Sit over here.
Or you can sit right there.
Yeah, anywhere.
Huh? You can sit
You
right
can sit
there.
wherever you want.
Yes.
Okay. So, take it away.
Well, our budget's staying the same, so there's not much really to talk about there. I mean, they
Everybody got these?
took the, that money away from my payroll for the ambulance, for fire. So right now, budget-wise for the fire department, we should be pretty good till the end of the year. What's helping us out on payroll is gonna be, we've been doing a lot of fire watch for the dance studio at the old Harley shop. So last year we did, we do $18,000 there from standby, so that'll help out in our budget this year.
So just to expand on that, they're having an event.
Right, what happens is they have they're shooting videos and they're using a smoke machine. So when they do that, they have to shut off the alarm system. So we have fire personnel standing there, making sure nothing catches on fire.
And in theory, those are the ones that would be at the station. in the
What's
event.
that?
Are those the ones that would be at the station?
No,
So this is
that's,
above and beyond?
yes,
And it's like police details?
yes.
You're charging a fee? a
Yes,
portion of
it's
which-
$50 an hour.
And obviously the person doing the job gets a piece of that.
Right, he gets his pay, yeah,
And-
hourly rate.
And then the difference, whatever that is, comes in?
Right, it goes into the fire wages. So,
That's correct.
comes out of fire wages to pay the employee,
Yeah.
and then the money goes back in there, so. So out of that 18,000, we had to pay, I don't know what his hourly rate is offhand, but
It's less than 50.
yeah, so I mean, the town is making money on it, so works out well. Just this sheet I gave everybody, basically it's, we have 40 non-benefit employees, 24 paramedics, 8 EMTs, and 8 first responders. Everybody's at least a first responder on the department. Out of those 40, 24 work full-time for another fire department. We have 1 PA, 2 work for a private ambulance. Out of those 40, 12 live in town, and out of that 12, 5 can respond on an ambulance call. The 3 full-time is myself, administrative assistant, which I share with the police, and a full-time paramedic. The full-time paramedic lives in town. He just, after he came onto the Southampton Fire Department, he actually bought a house in Southampton, so he responds as well at night or after hours. Call volume, it went up quite a bit last year. 1172 calls. Last year we did, or 2024, we did 1,048. And as you can see, 10 years ago we did 529. So we doubled over.
How many of those calls are kind of,
What's that?
how many of those calls are kind of not really important calls?
Well, I mean, we don't know if they're important or not till we get there. We did 976 EMS calls. Out of that, it was over 700 transports. 230 were either refusals, well-being checks, lift assists, 24 car accidents. Fire side, we had 100 fire alarm calls we did last year, 22 CO. So those were the big 2. A lot of odor and smoke investigations, those are 18 of those. So this year, the end of last year there, we had the structure fire over on Middle Road where his car caught on fire and then caught the garage on fire. So, permits, and it's on the vehicles, all our vehicles are in pretty good shape right now. Our ambulance A1, our primary ambulance, it put on a little over 15,000 miles last year. I had to replace the rear hydraulic shocks. Those were quite expensive. They were $900 a piece. Basically what those are is they're hydraulic, so when you open the rear doors, the body lowers to get the cot in and out, and then it raises back up. That's why they're so expensive. Had the fuel tank repaired on A2. They had to send it out. They dropped the tank, repaired it, and put it back in. Engine 3 also had its fuel tank replaced. That was leaking. We got our new pickup, so that's a big help. The old one out there, as soon as the snow melts off it, we're going to take all the parts off it that we need, and we'll be selling that. The motor's no good on that. Station, we installed, I added, we've had cameras inside the bay for the ambulance bay. It's a requirement for having narcotics on the ambulances. But I expanded it to outside. So that way, what was happening in the past would people would pull up for, in front of the station looking for an ambulance, and we're in the back, so we wouldn't be able to know they're there. And next thing you know, dispatch is calling us on 911 saying there's a car out front. So now we have cameras all the way around. It's good for safety and for, you know, people pulling up. So that works out well. We actually had it on camera there where somebody drove across the lawn. They were leaving one night here. It was dark, and I don't know, they missed the driveway and just drove right down the sidewalk.
Oh.
So,
You didn't think they saw you, Stephen, did you?
the Firefighters Association, they bought 3 new recliners for the station. The old ones were pretty rough shape, so now those are good. Bleemer Road, engine 1 is down there. Engine 1 is out of service. For the repairs are too much money for that.
That's the 1988.
Yes.
Old one.
We use it now mostly for fire training. We keep our UTV trailer in there in the winter, so it works out well having that.
Is that all well insured?
So equipment, everything's pretty good shape there. You know, we had all our inspections done, our annuals, fire extinguisher, fire hose, ladders. Our new compressor, SCBA compressors is there. We've been using that. That works well. Now we can fill our bottles all the way up to the proper amount. Our SCBA packs, we're going to be running into trouble in the future with those. We had a FEMA grant out for that. We didn't get it this year. We have 16 packs in service out of 24. 8 of them are out of service. They're just too old and too costly to repair. An air pack costs about $8,000 a piece. Our newest pack is from 2010 when we got engine 4. So SCEA bottles, we're good there. We have 42 bottles. Those cost about $1,300 a piece, but we're pretty good for a few years on those.
So can we, the ones that you think that you're gonna be in trouble soon, so that inspection is scheduled for May. So do you think that you, with those 16 for this year, you'll make it to the May inspection and the recommendation would be on next year's budget?
Well, we'll see how we do on the inspection. We usually, you know, if we don't, we're gonna go for the grant again this year. If we don't get it, then we'll probably have to do something.
Okay.
You know, a capital expense request.
Okay.
So, fire prevention, we now have 3 certified instructors. We just did a cooking class with the Council of Aging last week. This Saturday, we're doing a CPR class. We're expecting a good turnout for that. We're starting fire prevention at the school in March. Fire permits and inspections. Our shared inspector ended in October with Easthampton. Last year, calendar year, inspections brought in $9,236. Burning permits were $5,235. And then the details last year were $15,850. So that detail helps out for now. They're supposed to be expanding that actually to do the Harley shop and the original dance studio at Tractor Supply.
So on that, so the way the current accounting's happening is creating a credit within your wage expense. So when your year number closes out, it looks like, it's going to look like you didn't spend the money that you were given because there's a credit going in there.
Well,
and
I have a spreadsheet.
What I guess from what I'm saying is I think it needs to be broken out. I think it needs to have its own line item so we can see, okay, these are outside details. Here's $5,000 coming in for the cost of those details, and it cost us $4,000 in wages to go out, so it netted $1,000.
Right.
It just stands alone on its side, because, you know, it's easy to look at a line item when you're looking year over year over year, you're like, well, you never constantly spent that money.
Right.
And if it's only going to go up,
Right, right.
if it's $100, it's $100,
current
but
payroll spreadsheet.
No, I agree. I think that would be much more clear to try and track that as well.
So if we scroll all the way down,
Create 2 new accounts.
so right now, on average, we're gonna end up with $14,000
positive revenue?
left over in our payroll. Because you guys took that 57,000.
It's even after we took the 57,000.
Right, we're gonna end up with 14,000, but I mean, you know, if we put in 15 plus.
Right. So I guess to Bradley and Scott.
I mean, if you guys wanna do it that way, that's fine.
But we're not always gonna be sitting in these seats, and when we're looking back over 3 years of history.
Right.
You know, why was that number there? Oh yeah, I remember that. But
Right.
I think you should look at doing something similar to how the PD tracks the road jobs there. It's separate on its own. They get paid in and out of this. You've got one person you're doing for it, so I'm sure the AR is right on top.
Right.
You know, but if we run into an issue where someone's not paying the bill, it just kind of gets lost if it's in that wage line item.
Yeah.
That's all.
Right.
No,
Okay.
no, I agree, and I think my tendency would be to say, okay, well, it looks like you had 14,000 left last year out of your budget, so why do you know, what's your justification to come to us for that same amount,
Right.
again? So
Right.
it doesn't help with the clarity and the transparency, I think, to understand that, you've actually brought in more revenue than anybody had even planned on. So I think that needs to be reflected correctly.
And it paid for itself because if we have to spend more than 5 seconds trying to remember the reason why, it's going to be difficult to explain to the voters.
Right.
Right? So
Okay.
I don't, and you may know more about this accounting, John, because of your former roles, but like, I don't, and again, I'm not well versed in like a revolving type account, but if fire department and PD are having these opportunities to generate revenue, should we be looking at creating some type of revolving account where they're, no?
Well, yes and no. It's already spelled out statutorily how it has to happen. You can't you can collect the wages and the FICA gets added to it, should get added to it, and admin fee, and there must be, but on the PD, if the chief says you have to have a car, there's a separate rate for that. But it's a fixed rate.
I was just thinking about tracking, and then it goes back into their accounts that they can use, and it takes the strain off of the general budget.
Correct.
So it's just food for thought.
The outside detail should be neutral to the overall budget. So having it in the general fund budget kind of skews the number. And when you talk with the burn permits, so those receipts all go into a specialized revolving account that can only be used for certain things.
Right.
You can't use it for the health department.
Okay. Last thing I have is state grants. We've applied for a mass fire equipment grant, $15,500. I haven't got the official results back yet, but I emailed my application to the grant person at the state, and he said everything looked good. And in the past, when he's emailed me back and said everything looked good, we got it. So this year we're going to spend it on.
And that was going to be for communication equipment?
Right, communication equipment for engine 3, engine 4, and the brush truck. Basically, they're headphones with microphone, wireless, so they can get out of the truck and run the pump or, go to the scene. They have like a 1,000-foot range, so. And then I'm in the process of working on a SAFE grant for the schools and the senior center. That you can get up to 10,200. The amounts are based on population. So that has to be in by March 5th. So other than that, that's about all I have.
One question. You mentioned earlier that the shared inspector with Easthampton has ended in October. So what does that mean? What are the implications there going forward?
It's just I go out and do the inspections. I have one of the guys that works for Easthampton that was doing the inspections actually works in Southampton as well. So he's been helping out with that.
So are these your restaurant inspections? What kind of inspections do you do?
All the inspections, smoke and CO, you know, when everybody sells a house, they have to be inspected. The propane, the solar,
Okay.
oil tanks, oil burners. We go to all the liquor license, the school, the 2 preschools. And then if I have any kind of questions, I can still contact Easthampton, the captain up there, and he helps me out, so.
So when you actually do the inspection yourself, are you getting the fee portion of that inspection?
Right, it goes to the town.
100% of it?
Yes,
All right, so unlike when we have a plumbing inspector go
Right.
out, they get a portion of that.
Right.
In your case, since you're the salary one, it's not,
Right.
it's all.
right. Yeah, that's the, like I said, it was $9,200 we brought in last calendar year, 2025. So 161 inspections, plan reviews, and permits.
Do we want to go through some of this up here in the budget? Have we covered that? Or do we need to go through building inspection expenses, those kinds of things? And ambulance billing and those things we might want to just touch on at least, so.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty good on everything.
How's your AR collection?
My what?
Your ambulance billing collection?
That is slow going. The company has, I think it's 172,000 that they're going after. And it just started a couple months ago. They've only, I think we're up to only like $500. So it's slow going. And then they changed, I think they changed the law where you can't put it on your credit report. So
these are ambulance bills that have not been paid for
Right.
people that you've transported?
right.
That the insurance wouldn't have paid or?
Or did pay and they didn't forward the money.
Oh,
Balance.
okay.
So, and we have our full-time paramedic. He's working out great. Like I said, he lives in town. He took over the, every run report has to be reviewed for billing purposes. And he's been right on top of that, sending it out to Coastal every week. So it's working out well, having him here all the time.
That's great.
So. I can, I'm gonna go back to this thing.
The recertification costs would be for yourself or?
That's for anybody that, you know, you have to renew your paramedic or EMT card every 2 years.
Uh-huh.
So we pay for that. That's
Even if they're from another town?
right. Well, if they're from another town and their full-time department pays it, then I don't pay it. So. So go to warrants. Scroll up on this page, all the way up. Right over here to the right. So there's our all our expenses. Anything in the yellow is part of my budget. So that's the actual amount, our balance. If you average it out, you know, we're up to 17 weeks of paying out. And that's the how much it would be at the end of the year. So it'll be, right now it'll be 132,000. The only one that's over right now is fire expense, but I've paid out most of that, so that average should go down where, you know, I'm not gonna need more money. So, you know, my budget's 189 for expenses, and right now we're at 132. With, you know, if everything stays average through the end of the year. So. And if you scroll back over to the left, these are all, you know, the different accounts, what we spend money on. So you got ambulance expense, and it goes through every account.
Chief, are there items that just don't work with that annualization that you know you're gonna spend, like, for example, like $18,000 before the end of the fiscal year, that you're not capturing there? Because it looks like you're pretty underspent.
Right.
So I'm looking at it.
I mean, our last year, our building expense went up only because of, the utilities, gas and electric, went up so much. Other than that, everything's pretty status quo for me.
So you think it's accurate, you're not gonna end up expending like operational expenses up to that 190? It's actually gonna be 150? Or excuse me, 130, I think was on the warrant worksheet there.
Yeah, I mean, there's some expenses coming up, but right now we should be under 189 without a problem.
Because you've done your basic inspections of your vehicles and your repairs that you need to do, which would have been your big.
Yeah, engine 3 needs to go out for a engine oil leak. But other than that, the maintenance wise, I mean, we're pretty good. So, building, I mean, it's just, the cold weather. I mean, the last 3 weeks, we haven't had water in the FEMA trailer because the water line froze outside. Because basically, it's just the hose that runs from the building along the ground into the trailer, It wasn't a permanent thing.
Garden hose?
Yeah.
So,
A basic garden house.
right, basically.
Small town living.
Is your budget big enough?
So,
Really?
Roof leaks, not for fire.
towards the end of the year, if we have monies available, then we'll be able to restock, fire hose. Maybe we could buy a pack or 2, something like that. So.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions, comments? Okay. Good.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks for
Thank
coming.
you.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you. All righty. Chief Illingsworth, I think it's your turn.
I have a PowerPoint presentation. Can I connect my, excuse me, can I connect my?
You don't get more money for overachieving.
I'm sorry?
I said you don't get more money, Chief, for overachieving.
No, I'm not.
I'm kidding.
My goal here is to kind of give you an idea of
We appreciate
He's
it.
notorious for overachieving.
what we're doing
Appreciate it.
and,
I'm the same way.
and why I have the budget I do. I want to try to be as transparent as possible. How's that?
I do want to just say that we're currently in mediation with the union, so nothing reflects that in this budget.
Yeah.
What's that last piece? So nothing left?
Nothing reflects.
So the
Control
increase is
increases.
because they're
Yeah.
currently negotiating TBD.
Okay. So I know it's getting late. Everyone wants to get out of here. And like I said earlier, if there's such thing as death by PowerPoint, I'm going to put the nail in the coffin tonight.
Is my talking about migration work out? I saw one drive popped up.
I don't know.
Okay.
You got 27 slides.
It's good. No, no.
So it's 1 through 27?
I know, but some of it just notes. Just notes.
13.5% reduction in your budget.
You want to do a slideshow?
Yeah. I
All the
was
way
trying
down
to
to the
figure it out.
bottom right, where you have time and date.
Right there, Chief.
Yeah.
That little thing.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
Okay. So my objective here is again, just to kind of give you an idea of what we do and how I derive the request that I am, okay? And hopefully this achieves it. If you have any questions, feel free to interrupt. If you want to move forward faster, just tell me to move forward faster. So we'll start off with what we do at the police department. It extends so far beyond law enforcement, as I think everyone knows now. It's not just law enforcement. But as far as our membership, we have 12 full-time officers. One officer is on military leave, and he intends on going on another leave next year as well. He's due to come back in April. He's going to go at least for another year. So that officer was not budgeted. He was due to come back in April this year. This particular budget I budgeted him for fiscal 26 from April to July. That was excess that we had because he's not coming back, and I provided that. That was money that we put towards the necessities for the last special town meeting rather. So the functions of the police department, just start off with daily operations. As you know, we respond to investigate crimes, or we have proactive and reactive patrols. We address quality of life complaints, respond to medical calls, and enforce and mitigate unsafe operation. I'll provide some stats with these things as we go along. Our public outreach extends the resident reassurance program. If anybody doesn't know what these programs are, let me know. That's a program where we have check-ins daily by residents that may need reassurance that everything's all right at home. We do winter wellness checks. We do handle with care. That's we cooperate with the school system. If we respond to a household and a child might be exposed to police and fire, we just let the schools know. Nothing to do with what occurred, that maybe the child might just need a little extra care for the day because of what had occurred the night or 2 nights prior. We have a coalition with Triad, which is elder services. We also install the lock boxes and street numbers for residents. We have a drug abuse response team, veteran engagement team, and daily house checks for vacations. Administrative functions, we issue firearm permits, we issue solicitation permits, public records request, sex offender registry, use of force reporting, crime reporting, and grant writing and acquisition. Just to give you some of these stats, log entries last year, we had over 16,000, about 16,500 log entries. That's about a 14% increase. Now this is calendar year, 14% increase from the year before, and a 65% increase from 2023. To make sure I'm completely transparent, that's not 16,000 calls for service that the police department went on. That is some form of interaction, some form of information provided to us, whatever log entry that dispatch feels necessary to log. That's what that entails.
Why did it go up so much?
It's been trending, I think, 2023. I don't know exactly, but I can say it's in 2023. It went up, and I think that was, we were kind of coming out of COVID, and I think that had something to do with it.
Is the regionalization of the dispatch, like does Easthampton's dispatch potentially log more?
No.
Similar?
It's very similar, yes. Yeah. They have codes that they log, so every call for service they'll log, just like we did prior to. Medical related responses, now the police department does respond to medical. Oftentimes our officers are on the first on scene because they're out on patrol. So we provide the immediate care. Our officers went to 921 medical responses. What's important, though, is you see 138 mutual aid calls. That means the ambulance is likely out of town. So our officers are there, the first ones rendering until some other community can come in and interact. And in 2025, 2 of our officers received life-saving awards. We investigated 149 misdemeanors, 78 felonies, responded to 32 domestic violence related calls, 55 frauds, 12 death investigations, 50 attempts to service orders, and executed 9 search warrants. Our proactive and reactive patrols, we had 398 calls involving assisting citizens. This is not, again, this is calendar year. Okay, this isn't the fiscal year. We did 65 well-being checks. That's not resident reassurance. That's somebody calling asking us to do a well-being check. 117 animal complaints, 46 disturbances. Accidental 911 calls are when somebody mistakenly calls 911. We have to validate that it was indeed a mistake. 64 disabled cars, 48 crashes. This is an anomaly. Our crashes in last year decreased by 39%. I have no explanation for that because we're already this year more than we were prior to last year. So we've had a lot of crashes this year.
Pack of snow?
I don't know. I'm not quite sure. When I say crashes, those are reportable crashes. They're not just offender vendors. Those are the ones that actually have to report to the registry of motor vehicles.
There was 1 or 2 fatal car accidents.
We had 1 fatal car accident. Yeah. So our fatal crashes went up 100%. Traffic, we did about 1,100 vehicle stops, issued 524 citations, and we did about 2018 radar assignments. That's And that's basically quality of life, and making sure that people call for radar. We try to make sure that we address that. Administrative functions, we issued 313 firearms licenses in 2025. Currently, firearms licenses expire every 6 years. So currently in Southampton, out of our 6,200 residents, there's probably around 1,300 residents with firearms licenses. I think we're pretty high per capita. Solicitation permits, 19, we also issue those. Public records requests, 167 public records requests. That's not including some of the crashes and ones that we don't record. Property inventory and storage. Whenever we issue a restraining order, someone has to give up their firearms. I told you how many people have firearms. We're taking in sometimes 20, 25 guns when we serve those. So we have closets and rooms full of property, not just firearms, but property that's evidence, found property, and so forth. Use of force reporting, we have to do that monthly. Sex offender registry, we have to register sex offenders that classify as sex offenders 1, 2, and 3. Crime reporting, we have to do monthly. And grant acquisition, so this year we have the $175,000 for the State 911 grant. I received a $22,000 grant for our video cameras and recording upgrades in our department, and that is pretty much, as well as you see down below, actually it's not included, there's another $7,000 grant for our phone system. And so that kind of concludes our transition to regional dispatch. Mm-hmm. So now we did that in such a rushed manner. There was no feasibility study. We had to do that on our own. Right. And it worked out. But fortunately with some grants, we were able to kind of finalize it and make it so it's the way it should be. We also had a $12,000 road safety grant and a grant for addiction recovery. Public outreach, we do the daily check-ins with residents, winter wellness checks, snow ice events, we'll go to them. If people want us to check on them, we will. Handle with care, explain that. The coalition with Triad, we do the sand bucket delivery with the Council on Aging and the fire department. We install lock boxes and street numbers. And we have a drug abuse response team. So whenever we have an overdose or we have a situation where we have to provide Narcan, we have a team that does that. Our veteran engagement team, that's a regional team that one of our officers on who's a veteran. The goal of that is to prevent self-harm. And our daily house vacation checks we do as courtesy for residents when we can.
Do you charge for any of those wellness checks? Or
the wellness checks?
Or the home checks?
No, we don't. No, and the vacation checks we don't either.
Does anybody do that, or is that?
We do it because they're patrolling. So it's not as though they should be patrolling the town entirely as it is, and the officers are set up in districts. So it is a courtesy, but it's also a means to make sure that they're hitting all the streets. And we do the drug take back day, and we have the lobby kiosk for the prescription drugs. Okay, so here we go.
Are you going to mention the Simba?
Yeah,
okay.
Actually, I thought I would have had that in. Oh, it actually is in here. Okay. So our police department's budget and how it's been formulated, how I formulated it. So our goals and initiatives, our goal is to maintain current levels of service and staffing. That's our goal for this year. Expand public outreach as needed and capitalize on available grants.
Do you do your own grant writing, Chief?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And
I have to give credit to my team too.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's handled in-house.
Yes, yep. I will seek out assistance from Chris and her committee when needed. Yep. So highlights, this is the second consecutive year of operational stability. So since I had been a chief, we were having serious shortfalls in staffing and so forth. This is now the second consecutive year that we've actually had stability with the retention of officers.
Has the market changed? I mean, are there better
It's starting to. It's starting to now. There's not so much a demand that there was.
Yeah.
I credit the operational stability honestly is to the select board by providing our officers with competitive rates. Mm-hmm. Highlight, we received upgrades for the police department funded by a grant. That's the phone system I spoke of, and the video surveillance and recording. Now we're all on one platform. Before we had for our recording, we had 3 different recording platforms. They were so, when we do an interview, we'd have to bring backup voice recorders to make sure that they're recording in case the one system failed. We're good now. The successful implementation of the Comfort Dog program. So that has been very successful. He was just deployed 2 nights ago to a restraining order service where a young child was there watching a parent being removed from the house. And let me tell you, it helps. It distracted that child, the dog distracted that child to the point where it was a very successful transition for the parents too. Reduction of crashes, again, I'd like to take credit for that, but I think that's well done.
It's turning off all the streetlights.
Challenges, overtime expenditures, military deployments and their requirements. So that's tough for us. We have that one officer that's on military, and honestly, him being in the military has helped us where we don't have to ask for more. But I also have another officer that is in the military on a part-time basis, and he has a lot of deployments. So to fill his position, and I'll get into this later, we don't have part-time staff really to do that, so we fill it with overtime. Budget changes, contractual wage increases, and overtime expenditures. Just some details on the part-time shifts. So from fiscal year 21 to fiscal year 25, that was essentially the transition from the police reform. And I said it before, there's very, very positive things that came out of police reform, but one thing that it hurt was the availability for part-time per diem police officers. And as a result of that, since then, we've had a decline of 68%. So we used to fill over 4,100 hours in part-time staffing. Now I had to budget for only 755 hours. I have 1 part-time officer, and the 1 officer that is on a full-time deployment, he'll work part-time for us as well. So I can, but based on the trend, I only budgeted for 755 hours. So that's where a big increase is that overtime expenditures.
And when you say you have 1 part-time officer, that officer does qualify for full-time status.
He's a certified police officer. He went through the certification process, and but now through attrition, a lot of officers, especially retired officers, and we have 2 retired officers on the police department, but they don't work shifts. They work details. That's actually a good thing for the police department, and I say that only because there are administrative fees for details that are not state or locally funded. So administrative fees are 10%. So if the officer is making, say it's a detail for every $400, the town's getting $40 out of that. So that actually helps. And we don't pay for any of their training. They pay for it if they want it. It's a win-win for the town as well as the officers, because we won't pay for their training. They have to pay for their training and their equipment.
Do you feel that the 755 hours is a safe number, or you do feel that you're under budgeting?
No, I'm every year I follow the trend. And every year I'm almost spot on. Yeah. So I feel confident with 755. Last year, or this year, I predicted 1,100, and we're right on target for 1,100.
Great.
So my total budget request is the following. Personnel costs is about 1.2, and the operational costs is about 145,000. I do my budgeting through zero budget processing. And I know Scott has asked that to be kind of like a department-wide thing now. I've always done that. For me, it's all about transparency. I want to see, and you're going to see that through this presentation, which I don't have many slides left, so we'll get through it. But you'll see exactly how transparent this is, okay? There's nothing, I cannot hide anything. We'll start with, this is how I compute officer salaries. This is one officer, this is a spreadsheet that I developed. And you'll have 2 columns here. 1 column here, this is, the 2 columns is because oftentimes officers will get another step increase. There's 7 steps in our department. So this is for, say there's step 3, throughout the year there'll be step 4. This particular officer, and that's all works with how many days they're on, We have what is called roll call. It amounts to about 38.67 hours a week throughout the year that these officers will get paid with their roll call. They have 37 and a half hours because they work a 4 and 2 schedule. But because of roll call, which is they have to be on shift 15 minutes before, it equates to about that number right there. And then this is the final number, and if they have an education incentive, this particular officer does. It's a 5% increase in their pay, and that's their education incentive total that they'll get as well. So that's how every officer is like that, and it's spot on. My part-time wage computations that are here. So again, 577 hours allocated. And as you come up here, we have 72 shifts open in the weekend. But officers work 4 and 2 schedules, most of them, right?
Explain 4 and 2.
A 4 and 2 schedule is 4 days on and 2 days off. So every 6 weeks, an officer has a consecutive Saturday and Sunday off. And that equates to about 72 open shifts. So that's 576 hours. The median rate for the part-time rate officer is $32 an hour. And that's where that comes from. I can't put that towards, then they have their first responder training. They'll have training for that. Firearms training, that's mandatory training, as well as their first responder training. Taser training, that's mandatory. Roll call is equated in there, like I said earlier. Part-time professional development. And that is somewhat variable, but I don't ever want to take professional development away, even if it's minimal. And vacation cover, the remaining I put towards vacation. I could have put it towards anything, sick day, personal day, but I put the remaining hours that I allocated for part-time officers to vacation cover. And that is kind of just a breakdown. Here's another breakdown of how many vacation hours are filled and so forth. So this is available to anybody that wants to take a look at this. Additional wages that are included is holiday paid. Hours paid to officers not working the holiday. So they work 37 and a half hours. If they have a holiday off, it falls on their day off, they get paid 45 and a half hours because they get paid holidays. Officers that are working will get 37 and a half hours, but when they work the holiday, they get 8 hours overtime. So that's what that is. Officer in charge, they get a little bit of a percentage increase if they're the officer in charge. This does not include supervisors, only patrol officers, because we don't have enough supervisors to have somebody in charge. It's very important to have somebody accountable during the shift. There's a lot of things that they have to remember and have to do and have to take charge in. And if they're not accountable, if no one's accountable and there's a mistake, how do I hold anybody accountable for it besides both of them? Field training officer, that's based on fiscal year 24 and 25. We haven't really been training any officers, so I don't think there's really going to be much there. That's our contribution to the police administrative assistant. The officers get shift differential, and a total for the evening shift is a little over 9,000. For the midnight shift, it's a little over, it's about 11,000. They also get weekend differentials. It's $1 an hour, starting at Friday at 4 p.m. and ending at, on Sunday. And that's how that is computed. Overtime wages. So now we're looking back, if we had the part-time wages earlier, now we're looking at, it's almost like the same column, if you will. Just fly my cursor here. Open weekend shifts, I put that, all my part-time officers all to those. So vacation cover, so now we have to cover vacation. That's how many hours need to be filled by vacation. If an officer goes on vacation and there's adequate staffing, we do not fill it. So if I'm working, or sick days as well. So today, somebody called out sick on the day shift. That shift did not get filled because it was myself and another officer working. Same thing if there's we always try to have 2 officers working, and if there's 2 officers, say sometimes there are 3, especially with overlaps during the day because I work at 5 and 2. Those shifts, vacation and sick time and personal days do not get filled. Holiday cover, oh sorry. Again, this is for holiday cover. People that they can take the holidays off, and also when there are open shifts on the holidays. Court, if officers go to court, they have, that's about, and again, this is based on 20 weeks of fiscal year 26. Not, I use this template a lot. It's not fiscal year 25, it's 20 weeks of fiscal year 26. Professional development, we try to do everything online. So as far as our mandated training that we have to do 40 hours of, we do it all online. I don't send them to avoid overtime costs. First responder training necessary. School lockdowns, we have to send them this, we have to do at least 2 a year. Firearms training, that's necessary. I'm proud to say that since I've been chief, we never had less than lethal munitions. Since I've been chief, we now have 2. We have taser as well as less than lethal firearms. And those all require training. Okay, now this is as far as the non-wage expenses. These are our building expenses. These totals are all based on looking at other fiscal years and what's trending. Our electric, everything there, the oil, gas, electric, everything. We have to have our fire extinguishers inspected for insurance purposes. General supplies, generator maintenance, our water department, everything. So that's for our building expenses. That's exactly where it's coming from. I even go, just to give you an idea of the transparency here, you look at the furnace service, the boiler filters, I go on Amazon as I'm trying to figure out how much it is, I find out how much each one costs. That's where that's coming from. Professional development expenses, again, so my in-service, that's in Norwood, so I have to stay there. Officer professional development, it's about $200 per class. I try to send people to as much as I can, if I can, honestly, because we're strapped. This is sometimes the last thing I'll do if I can send them, because oftentimes some expenses occur that are not planned, like cruisers or when anything, something breaks down. Uniform allowance, that's contractual. EMT certifications. Now we have 4 officers that are EMTs, which again is very good because we have a short-staffed fire department, and when their bus is out, we have EMTs. A lot of they can actually provide greater aid than I can. We provide Narcan, oxygen. We have defibs in our cruisers, and we're trained for all of them. Firearms qualifications, that's how much it costs. Just to give you an idea, that's exactly, so you see that number, the 4,388, that's where that comes from. That's an itemized list of everything that we need to do every year for firearms.
Oh, yeah.
Food reimbursements, by contract, they get that if they're on for an entire day.
Excuse me. It didn't ring, so.
Thank you. You are out of business.
Maybe your accent went up.
RAD membership, that's rape defense. We have an officer that's instructing in that. That's an instructor in that. Let's see here. Vehicle maintenance expenses, cruiser fuel, that's based on fiscal year 26. Cruiser repairs, our cruiser repairs went down because we're expected to get 2 new cruisers, so I suspect our cruiser repairs will go down. I think last year I budgeted 9,000, I budgeted only 6,000 this year. We still haven't, those cruisers are currently in development. They're at the shop getting upfitted as we speak, which is actually good that it lasted this long because we're able to limp along with the other 2 cruisers, so now those cruisers will last a little bit longer.
How long ago did we have to order those?
I ordered them as soon as I got permission, so that was probably
July.
Yeah, July. Yeah. Fleet inspections, cruiser tires. That's based on what what we have we get state contracted tires. Turnpike fees and radar calibrations. We have to get our radar units in our cruisers certified because if we go to court and say we stop somebody for speeding, they can challenge that, and if we were to stop somebody for speeding, something very significant came out of the stop, that could be a cause for the stop to be dismissed. Technology, DTS scheduling, that is our scheduling, and it schedules our details. We had to get that as soon as we lost dispatch. Dispatchers always did our detail scheduling, and they did our, essentially it's for our police details. Those are police details, if I'm not speaking clearly enough, that's officers doing traffic. It also covers once we go into the new payroll system, once this DTS system will work with that payroll system, so I can do it right through that. Our MDTs, those are mobile data terminals in our cruisers, and we have 4 cell phones. When we went regional, we had to have cell phones for officers on the street because the dispatchers would just call them directly, and no one wants to give up their personal cell phone to people that they don't know. Our police and records contract, that's about $19,000. I know that's probably going to be, what it's going to, we're going into a new CAD system, which is a computer-aided dispatch. I got a grant through Easthampton's regionalization efforts for about $125,000 new CAD system. Our CAD system's old and antiquated, and they're not upgrading it anymore. We've had it since 1999. So this new CAD system, I was able to get our contract, our annual subscription, lower than our current one with the new program. That's supposed to be implemented sometime in July. Our copier lease, and then that's our new phone system. Our reoccurring fees are about $185 a month. That phone system works with the phone system in the town hall as well.
And also the fire department.
And the fire department, yes. Other expenses, our copier printer, again, I went on Amazon, I checked out what it is. Again, I don't want to bore you with the details here. I know everyone wants to get out of here. This right here is our Criminal History Systems Board agreement. We have to have that because that's where we get all of our if we run a plate or we do a history check on somebody, that's our agreement that we have. Some of these things I didn't fill in for new hires. I don't expect to have any. I hope I don't have to hire anybody new because that means somebody lost somebody. Medical equipment, ballistic vests. If we were to hire somebody or some vests get too old, I did put 2 new vests in. They're about $1,000 a piece. We have adequate crime processing material, so I didn't put anything for that. And new employee psych test. If we did, it's about $500 per psych test, if we had to. But that's what I would try to do is recruit certified police officers so I don't have to send them to the academy. Doesn't make me look good with other police departments, trust me. Nobody likes that. Everyone's stealing from each other.
Yeah, poaching.
Yeah, they're poaching. And everyone knows it, and we just kind of let it go.
Everywhere, yeah.
And then these are just some other post office box fee, everything that I purchased. Equipment maintenance, radio consoles, that's where I'm at a safe number. Because we don't have dispatch, I probably can get that down. I think I can get that down. All traffic solutions, that is our maintenance fees for our speed signs and for our electronic note boards that we have. I will tell you right now, those contracts have expired and I did not pay for them because I needed that, the town needed that money, so I did not fulfill those, that obligation. So right now, those electronic sign boards can't be programmed. And our Mount Tom repeater, one of the things when we transitioned to Easthampton, I wanted to make sure we had done, and we got this through the grant. Our repeater was up on the mountain in a very hard to get place. A repeater is when you transmit on a radio. The repeater is the antenna. The transmission goes to the repeater, and then it spreads it, so it can reach further places.
A microwave is that?
I wouldn't say that. I think what happens is, otherwise it's antenna to antenna, and with the topography of Southampton, you can't go over the mountains and so forth. So we need a repeater that was closer. We have one now on Mount Tom that's managed by Hoyle Gas and Electric. So it's a much more stable repeater for us. So I was able to do that. That's our contract for that. And that also includes the fire department as well.
So you guys are on the same wavelength now?
We're not on the same wavelength, but I was able to get their repeater at that location as well because their repeater was at the highway department.
Right.
And so that's where they had a lot of transmission problems throughout the town.
Good. Okay.
And that's it.
Good.
Couple questions.
Yeah. Does Scott want to throw up your version? We're looking at the book here?
I think my battery's died.
I don't know.
I have a little bit left.
I mean, just because we had questions about how things were combined, I just in case we had any observations. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead, John. Yeah.
Ian,
Yes.
so the 12 officers
Yes.
that are working, one of them includes somebody that does work with or is on loan to the task force?
He works with them. It's completely paid by the task force.
So that's where I'm going with this.
Yes.
So is that person's wages in your numbers here?
So he only works, so he'll work any overtime. So if, I'll give you an example. I don't know if you saw the, maybe the news 2 days ago, there was in Springfield with the recovery. He was there. Some of that was during his shift, and then anything that's else, I will let him go if we have adequate staffing. So if say myself and Mark are working, and he needs to go during the shift to do it, he can go. If it's outside his shift, the task force pays his overtime. We invoice them, and then they pay us.
Okay.
And then I put that money back into, so the overtime, I pay him through our overtime account, but the task force reimburses us, we invoice them, and then that money gets, I direct that money to Bradley, and he puts it back into our overtime budget.
But his annual salary, whatever that number is fully reflected in your salary line item here. And in general purposes, he earns that while working for the town, or she earns that while working for the town.
Yeah. Yes.
The overtime above and beyond may temporarily flow through your budget, but is reimbursed.
Yes. Yeah. The town does not pay any of that. Yeah.
On your expenses, and maybe you touched on this, but the $175,000 to Easthampton, I'm assuming, is zero for 27.
Yeah. Meaning, yes. So for
They're
27,
not charging us anything anymore?
No. So it goes 3 years. This will be our third year.
Okay, but fiscal year 27 in the budget book I'm looking at has zero. That's the 175,000 isn't there.
DLS wants us to track it differently, so we have a separate offset sources.
That's the dispatch grant down the bottom?
Right here. Yeah. So we put a separate section for like COA and these things to track it separately. DLS doesn't want us to do it as part of the general budget anymore.
So we still have 175,000 every year that we're on the hook. But at some point, we go down to 75% and then 50%, right, John?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. However, there's no, a non-accountant put these together. But up above, where, on this sheet here, where you're looking at expense. I know, you get car sick, right? All right, so if I look on the department budget page.
On the next page?
Yeah, where the 175 is up above.
Oh.
Okay, that comes out, so I'm looking at fiscal year 26 budget. If you sum all that, I believe it's $326,000. Right? Okay, so now flip back to the other page. So your expenses for fiscal year 26 show $326,553, but then you're duplicating that 175. I get why you're breaking it out, but in 26 it really was in the top number. So if you're going to break out 25 and 26 for illustration purposes like that, by moving the 175, you've got to minus the 175 from the 314 and 326.
We did. It doesn't go towards the total. So the 175 is just a separate by itself. It doesn't tie into the general fund or general expenses or revenue.
Right, but if someone's going to look at this and try to do year over year, unless you have a note or you pull it out of your 326, it's misconstruing the difference year over year.
This page is duplicating.
Exactly. It looks like it's in twice. It's in your 326 from last year.
So 27 is correct, and 27 calculates, but you don't have a calculation of 26 or 26 or 25. So 175 is here, and it's also in that 326 number.
Oh yeah, that's.
So this 326 number should be reduced by 175. So should this 314.
Percentages.
Or do it that way if you want.
That way, there you go. Good point. Yeah, absolutely. And at what point do we start having to pay in the 75%? Is it another year?
Invoice us.
This fiscal year 27 should be the third year. So then the following year it'll be we'll have to pay 75% of the 175,000. And the following year after that, 50%.
50%.
And then 25, and then we pay the whole.
Then it's ours. Then we pay the whole thing.
What do you mean then we pay the whole?
Probably gonna be more.
So Easthampton bills us $175,000 a year for the regionalization.
Yep.
And before regionalization, I think my budget for communications was around 230,000. It's a 3-year contract that we have with Easthampton. So I don't know if their intention is to maybe, if they're gonna increase our fee or not. It's gonna have to be something that is gonna have to come up at some point. But right now, because we regionalized the incentive, there's an incentive for regionalizing communications. And the state 911 department will reimburse the host community 100% for 3 years, 75% for the fourth, through Easthampton.
Okay.
Yeah. But at some point, that fee is
That's
going to be our
bother them that
responsibility.
they're not getting as much money,
Yeah.
and they might give us a different deal.
But after 6 years, we own the entire
Yeah.
invoice. The state won't.
Well, by that time, shouldn't that new county dispatch center be up and running? And that's all the questions I have.
There's options.
Anybody see anything else in terms of expenses you have questions on? In terms of how things are combined or anything like that? Is that the 145,000, I think was the total on the operating expense, was it?
Yeah.
I think it went up. I think last year expenses were about 141,000. So it really hasn't gone all that much up for the actual, not wages, but the operational expenses for non-wages.
What was, when we were looking back at your payroll kind of breakdown, what was the overtime wages in total, roughly?
About 130. This fiscal year was about 135,000, I think.
I'm sorry, what was like the actual hours? Not the cost.
Hours, I'd have to look at, let's pull that back up.
Because you're incurring because of the loss of part-time, certified officers,
Mm-hmm.
you're looking at like a $20 differential more or less, by shifting it from like the $30 average you pay part-time to a $50 average overtime.
So I was full-time, part-time. Just find that.
Yeah, as of June last year, you had 135 budgeted and 128,000 spent, so about 7,000 left. But what that translates into hours, I don't know.
Let me see if I can see it here. Hours, well, if I had a calculator out.
I guess.
So vacation cover would be, not including training.
Yeah.
So coverage.
Yeah.
It would be about 1,200 for vacation. Sick would be about 230. Personal would be about 330. And those are the remaining. That's what it would be for crew.
I was just trying to make sense. Like, I'm actually surprised with the decrease in part-time hours that, the salary line is pretty similar year over year, but I guess that is partly because of your one officer that's out on leave.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Are you aware of any potential? No. Yeah. Are you aware of any retirements in the next fiscal year that might take a top level count and drop down, or no one has signed or initiated anything?
Nobody has initiated anything. I know someone has looked into it, but I actually had a conversation with him today, and he kind of led me to believe, and I can't say for sure, but he led me to believe that it won't be this year. I think there's things that factor in retirement, especially for us older officers. I mean, for instance, if the state decides to get rid of qualified immunity, you're probably going to see officers retire. They're not going to want to take that burden of the potential for lawsuits. That might be a driving factor if that happens. It all depends on the officer's comfort level too. I think they're kind of trying to figure out what's going to happen with insurance, right? So find out what that number actually is going to be before they can make that decision. There's 4 officers, myself included, that probably within the next 5 years could go, and it all depends on comfort level
Yeah.
Because they can go, they won't get their 80%. Some might if they go the whole time, but some might decide to go at 72%, some might go at 75% depending on their age. It all depends on their comfort level and what happens in the future. So I don't have a definitive answer. I guess that's a long-winded way to say that.
So will there be some news about the insurance situation this week? It sounds like at the state level they were considering some changes. Is that the same thing?
Well, that was the governor has proposed some changes. I don't think the GIC is going to adopt them, and I don't think the state legislature is going to approve them either.
So that's a no.
And they punted the ball. I watched a meeting today, and they punted the ball to the next meeting. So for any plan design changes, if there are any, the proposal one, it's like a 10% increase for hearing aids for people under 21 years old. So it's like minor changes, a $5 copay here or there. So there's not like major things.
They were talking about weight loss drugs and co-pays. And you don't think that's going anywhere?
I don't think so. And I mean, from a financial standpoint on the town side, it would only benefit. It would keep things costs in check for the town. I mean, it would put more of a burden on employees.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, anybody have any other questions? If not, I think we will wrap this up for tonight. I know Select Board, we have our next meeting on the 17th, a regular Select Board meeting, then we've got meetings after that, I believe on the 19th.
And before that.
19th, I believe.
Thank you for your time and patience. I know that was
Thanks, Ian.
No, thanks Ian, very, very well detailed and much appreciated all the work you put into not only preparing it, but explaining it.
With a smile.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah, I know. For now. Good. All right. So with that, we have a motion to adjourn. Have a second by Ellen. Okay. All in favor on Select Board side?
Aye.
And
We're gonna go over minutes.
you did good. Okay. You're hanging there. Okay.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.